Not as much drama as the drama in the Kristie Noem household, undoubtedly over the weekend. I'm already getting pushback on your position on my text line, which I knew would happen. I knew this would happen.
Well, no matter what you say, there's going to be somebody to take issue with you.
You're right.
Because there's the spectrum of people who think she's a monster for even thinking about doing this. At the other end of the spectrum is the people going, it's a stupid dog. Who cares?
Well, don't forget the
goat.
goat.
Which is kind of what we got in the.
She got the goat too.
Yeah.
She got the goat. She got Cricket.
Would that be bad to kill a goat on the same day?
Did the goat have a name, or was it just Cricket for the dog?
I don't know. And so there's something special about the dog, and I am prepared to see out on the windswept prairie if the dog didn't pass muster, killed a chicken, was dangerous to her, or something like that. All right, okay. I mean, all right, there's a way in which I'm prepared to make this make sense. But what'll never make sense to me is her parading it around and sticking in the book as if this is somehow a net positive.
Makes sense to me.
She's trying to curry favor with who?
No, she doesn't want to be vice president. No, there's no question. Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no, she doesn't. She took herself out of contention. There's no way.
On purpose?
Of course she did. She did.
What?
That's not. This
well,
is
who does
this
that?
This isn't an act. She doesn't want to be the VP, and she wants to sell books. There's two reasons for this. There's two reasons.
So it's the opposite of someone who would write a book or say something designed to curry favor with the nominee, designed to charm your way onto the ticket. She actively did this as a grenade dropped in her own reputational lap in order to.
She cannot be so obtuse as to think that dog lovers all over the world weren't going to be mortified at the story. Now, incidentally, let's stipulate. Guarantee already, people. Oh, you city boys don't understand farm life, and this is what we do. And
totally understand.
Look, I mean, she ticked off Cat Turd. Cat Turd is furious on X, on Twitter. Cat Turd, who I follow, OMG, Cat Turd writes, now my blood is boiling. Remember, I'm a country boy who lives on a ranch. There's a huge difference between putting an old horse down who's suffering than shooting an 18-month dog for being untrainable. But then to plug your book at the end, seriously, is it just me? No, it's not. She doesn't want to be Trump's vice presidential running mate because right now, you or me have a better chance of being selected by Donald Trump than Kristie Noem. So
true, but how much of a chance did she have in the first place in a country that contains DeSantis, J.D. Vance, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Byron Donalds, Lee Zeldin? I mean, I don't think
maybe. Well, but maybe that's what she's saying. Maybe she's saying, look, I don't have a chance anyway, but I do have a chance to make a lot of money on a book. And guess what? A lot of people might buy her book now, I guess, although...
As a result, but we know the story now. So who in the world is now going to go, oh, now that I know she put a bullet in the brain of a troublesome dog, now I'm definitely going to buy the book.
Why do you want to forget the goat? Why? That poor goat. That goat's life mattered. What's wrong with you? No, I mean, she decided that, I mean, there isn't any conceivable way, and maybe her conclusion was yours. I'm not going to get it anyway. I've already got tipped off that Trump isn't interested. So you know what? I'm going to send the whole, universe into it. And incidentally, the reaction has been absolutely ridiculous. You talk about a COVID overreaction. Yeah. How about overreacting to something a woman wrote about something that happened on a farm years ago? But nonetheless, we and I'm a dog guy. I still miss my Rory. I miss my Buster, Thumper. I mean, I grew up with dogs. I love dogs. I mean, the funny meme that I posted on X over the weekend, I sent it to you. Somebody has a gun pointed to a scared-looking dog, and it says, "If you don't vote for the Trump Noem ticket, this dog is gone." I mean, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Let's try to turn the page, but I'm sure we'll have to revisit it today on the show. Meanwhile,
the reason, just to tie a bow, people go, why? Somebody at one point said, the world is hanging by a thread, and why are people talking about this? Because oddity will always rocket something to the top, and this doesn't happen often. Somebody famous doesn't proudly strut it around like it was a great thing she did. She is on the buzz list for VP for some mysterious reason. Probably not anymore if she ever was. So for those wondering, how did this become a big deal? Sheer oddity will sometimes rocket something.
Yeah, well, and somebody else just texted and said, look, whatever she's guilty of, she's definitely guilty of lousy judgment, and that's all I need to know. So it's one of two things. I mean, again, I think it's intentional. She's an accomplished governor. I'm kind of like you. I mean, the TV commercials, and she's a little over the top, but I mean, she's a pretty solid conservative governor, but she can't be a dummy, so there's no way she was oblivious to what kind of pushback she would get. Meanwhile, CNN with this, they're calling it a shock poll.
Hello.
Well, Trump up by 6. You know, have you followed Bill Ackman? He's the guy, the Harvard guy that's been writing a lot about the anti-Semitism and all that. He took on his alma mater. So he's become a real popular social media influencer. Here's what he writes. The biggest mistake Democrats have made in supporting Biden for a second term. In supporting Biden, they've given him false confidence that he can win. As a result, he didn't step aside and allow better and younger candidates to emerge. Now, as polls increasingly indicate that Trump will win by a large margin, it is likely too late for an alternative Democrat to emerge. And I suspect the polls understate Trump's margin, as I believe many are not willing to admit that they intend to vote for Trump. Handing the election to Trump will be Joe Biden's legacy. Now, you know me. I've said all along, ain't no way he's going to still be the nominee.
Sticking with that?
There still could be a surprise at the convention.
Anything, you are 100% right. I mean, we kind of had this back and forth for months. I've said he is going to be the nominee. You said he's not. Always holding out the possibility that anything's possible because, again, these are Democrats, and laws and norms and procedures mean nothing to them.
Zero.
And if they're desperate enough and somebody is, pardon me, ballsy enough to somehow engineer something that can work. But here's the thing. So who is the plan B? In a way, it can't be Kamala, but it can't not be her. We're gonna ride Gavin Newsome in a white man as we elbow the woman of color off the stage. Good luck with that.
I'm going to sound like a total jerk in my response to what you just said, but I absolutely love the fix they're in. I love it because you're right. They're between a rock and a hard place. You're going to throw the woman of color under the bus for Gavin Newsome, but Gavin Newsome could very well shake things up in a big way. So we're going to wait and see how all of this plays out. Meanwhile,
or you know what? Again, everybody always goes to Newsome. Has his ship sailed? Was there something about the debate that Hannity hosted with him and DeSantis, and maybe even some of his smarmy media appearances since? Is it possible that folks are starting to sort of see through him as an empty pretty boy?
Not as far as I'm concerned. I think he checks every box. I think he's everything that the left wants in Biden, but that Biden cannot possess anymore.
Just checking.
He's young. He's charismatic. He has curried favor with Fox News audiences. He pretends to be friends with Hannity. But here's this report that DeSantis and Trump had a sit down, had a powwow. Hello. And the reporting is weird on it because none of the reporting I've read speculates that they could be talking about DeSantis as his vice presidential running mate.
They said they were going to discuss fundraising.
Fundraising?
It's like, what? Okay.
Well, I mean, listen, they know it's the dream ticket. The Washington Post isn't going to say it because they don't want to even plant the seed in the minds of anybody. That's the dream, and I guarantee you they talked about it. They had to. There's no way that doesn't come up. So let's just pray, because you know what? Trump, DeSantis, awesome. 2024.
That would be
I
awesome.
hate it as a Floridian, because I'd hate to lose him as the governor, because there's some whack jobs probably licking their chops in the wings on that one. But what a week we will have, and we are ready for it. Final quick point, Alan Dershowitz making a brilliant point about these pro-Hamas demonstrators that are getting rounded up and arrested all over the place. He points out at least some of them are going to be future terrorists. If you're embracing Hamas and guess what? You're going to be capable of that kind of violence someday, right? I mean, it's a terrific point. He said, come into a theater near you. So the feds better have eyes and ears on these people. You want to talk about watch lists? You want to talk about surveillance? You want to talk about use the Patriot Act and all that stuff that the left loves? Well, turn it on them. Because they need
There are people who are doing you the favor of telling you what their radical beliefs are.
When people say who they are, believe them.